Alright, so I'm really curious how the live stream is going to turn out to be because we are having extremely less number of people who might be watching it. So we have 3 people watching right now. Um, Welcome everyone. So let me know a bit about who actually is watching the live stream so that we can just so it's working. Perfect. So the Patreon thing is working. Yeah, let me know your names and then we can slowly start walking towards the motivation behind this and what exact things are happening this month, and maybe you can learn some things from them. So Akhil is here. Hey Akhil, what's up, man? I tried calling you quite a few times, but it just doesn't seem to work out at all. Yes, of course I know you're Akhil. Definitely remember you. I mean, it has been a long time. Let me know how are things going on in the university. I mean, it has been a huge time since we caught up. Um, yeah, it's like as long as you're still in India, nobody really understands how weird masters is going to be. Not just in India, like anywhere. And as soon as you come here, you see the number of like these kind of presentations you have to do, and the submissions and all of that, and then all of these, I don't know, rosy guidelines or like blinders that people have, they just fall away. I find it pretty funny how things really quickly almost deteriorate in eyes of people. But for now, so for example, right now the last semester of the university is going on. This just means that there are way more these submissions, there are way more presentations. So yesterday was the worst, I think. No, Sunday was the worst day I have had till now in the university. I sent you an email too, but replied to the email I received from Patreon, so I guess it never went through. Yeah, it's true. I never received an email. I was like, I was genuinely worried. I was like, what is going on? But I was thinking that it's not like he isn't active. If there would be something, then definitely there would be something going on. All right, nice. So we have Vineet here and we have Ugochi here. So like Ugo is there, super nice. We have the people, and slowly we can start. So Ugo and Vineet, if you don't know how to comment on it, actually you can tap on the live stream. And once you tap on the live stream and you come to YouTube, because it's an unlisted um, live stream, then you can also like comment there and talk to me there. So that is going to be fun. Yeah. So I was just like telling the story about the almost the worst day I've had in the university till now. And it actually became that way because of the result of a lot of different things. So for example, on Saturday, Alina's grandma was having her birthday, like great grandma. So they were just thinking, this might even be the last time we might be seeing her. So everybody went there. I already knew I have a submission on Monday till 29:59:59 because that's how Germans pretend to have the diet. And then afterwards, I had another submission. So tomorrow, so the whole day today I was just working on it, and uh, because the submissions that I have are in German, so it takes extra time. So first of all, I have to like figure out all of the text, the normal text that you would write, and then afterwards there's actually a very new software, and actually let me just share it with you. And I don't know if you know about it, it's called DeepL. And this software is actually really nice if you want to just translate anything, and it does a way better job than Google. So it's deepl.com, and it is actually done with deep learning stuff. So in case anybody's interested, you can definitely check this out. Another very good website is this Lingui. So I use both of these to actually take help in writing the final finished product of the submission that I was doing. And DeepL turned out to be way better than the translator, the Google translator that you're going to use. Now, And afterwards we took care that the formatting is correct and stuff like that. And afterwards, the most important thing which everybody should definitely remember is that in the universities here, professors have some like different level of ego. And I don't know if that's even normal, because our professor told us that if you don't mention him in the resources that you're writing in the submission, then you cannot expect to have good grades because you did not mention the professor in your thesis. And I actually find it really retarded. And this is also the reason that, I have been like trying to figure out how to do the PhD afterwards, because I think this is a very good investment if you are thinking about things long term. So like, of course, yes, like PhD, this masters is nice, bachelor's is always nice, like that is the ground base that you have to lift up from anyways. But in general, like PhD is extremely nice if you want to go further and you want to, go into more managerial positions, or you want to become the CEO of some company or something like that. In all of those cases, this PhD thing is extremely fun. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, it could be an interesting thing. So I started making up this post. I started figuring out how many credits do I need at all to be able to plan my PhD better. And this might even be one of the best decisions I made, like to just like take out time to create this one document or even this Excel sheet, because it was more like an enlightenment for me. It was like, things are not as difficult as you think they might be. So I think it must be here. Yep, my final grades. So what I did was, again, on the middle one you have the ECTS, number of ECTS that you have, each subject has. So for us it's pretty standard that every single subject has 6 ECTS. So I put it there, and then I put the grades here, and then I put the weightage, and the weightage is just the grades into ECTS into here. And like weightage isn't really necessary, some kind of character. All right, so I'm now seeing Vinit's messages too. All right, let me get to you, Vinit. Now, so afterwards I made that, and I tried to figure out what kind of worst grades it is possible for me to get to still be able to do a very nice master's, because you need to have a 2.3 grade or less to do your PhD, right? So if I get 1.3 here, and like, because it is running fine what we are doing, and if we got a 1.7 there now, and for example this could also go very nice. So let's say it's a 1.7 there too. Then again, you already see how easy it is to actually get a good grade. And if you also see, if you put them 3.3, so for example this one was 3.3, let's say, and let's do it 1.7, and rather let's also do it 2.7. Yeah, and you just see, like, you don't need some extremely nice grades to have a nice master's. All you need to do is have an extremely nice master arbeit. So like, if your master thesis is extremely nice, and even if you couldn't perform exceptionally well throughout your masters, you would still be able to get a decent score in the end. One thing is important, that if you're going to go to any kind of management consultancy services or like management consultancy companies, then you will not be accepted if you have a grade worse than 2,3 or even sometimes 2,0. So this is again something that you have to remember, because many a times it's possible that it's just hard. It's just hard for general people who are coming for German taught programs to get better grades. But if you are already in the German taught programs, the opportunities are more. Now, but it's like you always have this trade-off of being in the naturally disadvantaged situation where everybody else is actually performing better than you just because German is their native language. It's like, yeah, I mean, that sucks, but you can't really do anything. In the end, you will still be having better English language proficiency. You would still be having more intercultural training than the other people with whom you would be working in, right? All right, so let me get back. And yeah, Vineet is asking a really nice question. Do you recommend using them for converting our CVs from English to German? So, Vineet, I don't think you need these to convert your CV from English to German. What I would rather do is I would go to this lebenslauf.com. Let me go back to the main screen again. And it is actually a very nice website because you don't have to do a lot of. Yeah, I hate this sometimes when they're actually trying to force you into registering for something. I don't think it's nice at all. Du wirst angemeldet. Ah, Jesus. Just let me show the. Alright. And in case that doesn't work, you can just search Lebenslauf online. Let me check. Yeah, I think because there's lebenslauf.com, togo.de, there are a lot of websites which offer you free templates and stuff. And for that, I think you should, like, if you want to have a CV in German, I think you should definitely use these formats already. It's like people say, hey, don't use them, they look shit or something like that. But the thing is, most of the times, these are the basic CVs, and these are how they are used. So there's nothing to worry too much about this thing. But in general, like, when you're applying to any kind of internship or if you're applying for any kind of job, it is just really necessary to have like the documents in German, because this is the funny thing. But I've realized, and like I've seen it from other people too, that actually if you're having your CV or like even the motivation letter just in German, the response rate that you get is actually way more than you would get when you're just writing the companies the emails in English. So I mean, although it's a funny thing, but this is a fact, and this is a fact that you should definitely be using in the longer term. So yeah, it's like the more I learn, the more I try to share, because every single day is a learning process. Sometimes you meet somebody from the industry. So like recently we were having our or what do you say? We were having our guest lectures from this company called KPMG, and I think most of you must be knowing about this KPMG, because KPMG is like these one of the big four companies. Yeah, one of the big four auditors, along with Deloitte, Ernst and Young, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. So we got some people from this KPMG, and they were just telling about how they are looking for some kind of people to work in their company. No? And here's the funny part. Like, I didn't even need it. I didn't even need it to actually go and try to look for a job. All I needed was to be outside the house, be outside somewhere where there was some kind of like-minded people coming together. So let me just show you how easy it was. Now, this is our general portal of the university, and here you can see what kind of courses are being taken and so on. So we had the class for corporate finance, and the corporate finance, they already then make a announcement that KPMG has offered some kind of jobs, and you can just directly take a look there. And even if somebody for the other one, just for normal internship, no. So it's like, if you are just open, if you just have your eyes open, the number of opportunities that you have around you, it's like pretty much a lot. Nah. So Manjunath is asking, when exactly can we apply for internship after joining university after 6 months? So Manjunath, you can actually apply for internship from the very first day that you actually enter the university. But the funny thing is that many a times in masters it is a bit more difficult to get an internship, just because of the reason that yeah, because you don't have this fledged practicum. That means you don't have a compulsory internship. You have an internship which is like completely open for you to take. You can also completely reject it. So that is actually some kind of hindrance now. But on the positive note, you actually have some kind of skills to offer to the company. That means you're done with your bachelor's and you can actually mention something in your cover letter. Because just imagine if you're writing or if you're asking somebody for an internship for the first time and you want that internship to be paid. What exactly can you mention at all in your cover letter? There's not much you can mention if you didn't do anything. But if you did your bachelor's and you already did some things, then it is going to be easier for you to get that in the master's. Although the internship not being compulsory could be some kind of hindrance. So, like, just to take the pros and cons, it's very important to then actually be persuasive enough to actually get a nice internship from the company, right? So, from what I've learned till now, and I'm also making these courses regarding them, this complete course for finding an internship and complete course for finding jobs, they essentially deal with the fact that if you write the Initiativbewerbung, or if you write your this initiative application, that means you're actually taking up the initiative of approaching the company. And even though the number of rejections that you would be getting is going to be extremely high, the jobs that you would get in the end might be of higher quality than what you would find on just these different job portals. Because the funny thing is, in job portals, a very mediocre kind of how do I say, mediocre kind of talent supply, because they are not creative enough to approach companies in some different ways. So they get lazy, they get a bit almost useless, and instead of actually approaching companies, instead of actually going to LinkedIn and approaching the employees there, they just try to take the easy way out. And taking the easy way out is just going to these different kind of portals and just trying to apply to whatever kind of job they can find. So in the end, it just reduces the quality of job that you would like to do. And because the company is also aware that we are putting it on the portal, we are going to get applications anyways, so we can also negotiate on our part and actually make the amount of money we would be paying this new recruit a bit lesser. The same thing isn't true when you're writing the Initiativbewerbung, because companies appreciate the fact that you took an initiative at all. So again, like, this is something very important that you have to take care of when you're doing your masters and when you want to apply for an internship. Because otherwise, I've seen people complain so much that, hey, I cannot find an internship, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. And the sad thing is, it's not like they are settling in for a good internship. In the end, they get frustrated and they settle for a very, very mediocre internship. Oh man, I'm living off of coffee these days. It's like last 2 3 days. It has been quite a long shifts. So again, like, I really wanted to take the live session on Sunday, but this internet thing went completely crazy. And then there was this seminar thing coming up, and I was like, it would be just very unnecessary if I start the live stream right now, and then afterwards, if it doesn't work out. So I was like, yeah, let me just postpone it for Tuesday. Maybe Tuesday is a bit more clear, but I went to the university again today. And yeah, the Gruppenarbeit. Every time you're working with the team, every time you're working with a group of other people, it's just so useless, because many a times you might have a completely different opinion on how you want the things to be. And if you really get stubborn and if you really want the people to follow your particular kind of approach of solving a specific problem, then you're not going to get anywhere. So in the Gruppenarbeit, you should already just take some kind of idea of what kind of people are going to lead the group in this kind of tasks. So because every single time you're taking a subject, it is going to be different. So for example, you took a subject for marketing, and there you meet a specific kind of people, and all of the people that you met there, they're a bit more submissive in nature. That means they don't really care. They want to just follow the orders. So in that case, you can take up the lead. If you see some other group where you are not so interested in actually making people follow your particular approach, then you can also follow it for some time. So these are some of the very general things that you have to take care of if you want to make a Gruppenarbeit or a proper team assignment with somebody into something more productive. Because I've seen people fail it so often and just it resulting into completely horrible stuff. Um, which brings me to another story, and like this happened also recently. So I have these two Gruppenarbeiten. So like the first one, it was already submitted on Monday, and the second one is going to be submitted tomorrow. In the first one, the guy was really weak in speaking, so he could not present at all, and he has this huge problem of stuttering. And the problem is so big that he cannot actually form proper sentences in one go. And I was like, fine, it doesn't matter. Like, first of all, when I was coming with him, I was like, this is going to be a difficult thing, because if he's not able to stop stuttering in the presentation, it is going to actually affect our grades. And I don't know if they did or not, but I did as well as I could, and he also tried to do whatever he could. And in the end, it was just so simple for him to actually just say that, look, if you don't reach your number of pages, I'm going to write on the section that, hey, this is the pages I wrote and this is the pages that you wrote. Which wasn't a very smart decision in the longer run, because if you're ready to give up the long-term value of a relationship that you can have with somebody, and it might be a colleague, or it might be just batchmate, or it might be some kind of supervisor that you had in your masters, you're actually not a smart person then. Now tomorrow, like in 2 days, there's a supervisor of us and she's leaving to some other university. And here's the thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to go tomorrow, I'm going to buy a greeting card or something, and I'm actually going to give it to her and stay in contact with her for a longer duration, so that in case she comes across some kind of opportunity or I need some help in the future, I can directly approach her and ask for that. And so many people get lazy here. So many people get lazy in building relationships with the people with whom they actually met sometime, that they actually end up missing out on a lot of opportunities. And this is also like extremely sad. So this is like a pro tip that everybody needs to follow, that any kind of relationships that you have with somebody, or somebody who is working on some specific kind of field and you are interested in that, or just you want to be kind and you want to acknowledge that person for their efforts or something, always take out time to just do something different for them. So again, for the supervisor, I'm going to like give some greeting card or something. Of course, there are going to be other people from the university who might do that, but I don't think so, because everybody's so busy in thinking that they have the busiest life on the planet, that taking a few seconds or taking a few minutes for somebody else just feels like such a huge task that most of the people just completely ignore it. So Prini is here. Prini, hi. So, hi Bharat, sorry I'm late. I was studying. Accounting is killing me. Oh, Prini, when do you have your exam? I also have the accounting exam and it is on 3rd March. So I still have some time, but it is going to be horrible. So, Ugo said, hi Bharat, you suggested we don't finish our masters in 4 years. What is the maximum number of years we have to complete our masters? So, Ugo, it's like 4 years is the maximum time that you can take to finish your masters. If you take longer than that, then it is going to be extremely difficult for the company to understand what exactly are you doing throughout this duration. So I would really suggest that you keep your duration of masters not longer than 3 years. So like, don't finish it in 2 years, because it might actually have a negative effect on whatever you were doing. But if you keep it 3 years, that means you take maybe one less subject each semester, and whatever subjects you took less, you do it in the last semester, or like you do the Masterarbeit in the last semester. And the middle semester, that means the fifth semester that you are having, that should be purely for internship. Sixth semester is going to be a Masterarbeit. So that would be the ideal thing. So Prinny's exam is on 8th February. So on 8th February, I also have an exam, but it is actually the easiest one. So you see this Maritima Transport, in which I'm expecting a 1.3. So like this is the exam that I'm having on 8th Feb. But again, it is just a multiple choice question, so it is going to go really, really fast. Look, this Rechnungswesen is the accounting part. So in the accounting, I'm expecting 3.3. Yeah. No? So in the accounting part, I'm expecting 3.3, and I don't even want to like become too optimistic with that, because this subject that I'm having, it is in German. So many a times I misinterpret things even after like studying it for 2 years, because sometimes there is some kind of technical stuff which comes along and then you completely lose it. So that is the funny thing. But in case I'm able to do it a bit better, so let's say it's 2.7, then I might have some kind of better grades again. But again, so I changed something else, or no? Yeah, I did the same thing. So hopefully, like in accounting, I think the most important thing is like just to go over the scripts a lot. And many a times the professors, they also mention the kind of books they want you to go through. And if you're unsure, just see what kind of books they suggested and see what kind of examples they are taking. And they're not going to make the exam from any other book other than the one from which they're already taking the examples. And this is the funny thing. And like, I don't know, German master system, it is not difficult at all. Trust me, it's not difficult. What is difficult is these kind of like presentations and these thesis submissions and all of these things. They take a lot more time. But exams are going to be easy in the sense that they are not going to be too complicated, but you definitely have to learn a lot. Vineet Anthony is asking, my plan is to do 2 internships. My plan is to do 2 internships during my master's because I feel that it is industry that finally appears. Do you think that it's the right approach? So Vineet, if you're allowed to do 2 internships, or like if you find 2 internships rather, should I say, then it is really nice, because 2 internships already puts you into like some kind of 1 year of like, or like half an year of work experience that you had purely in Germany. But you have to see with the taxes then, and you have to see what kind of limit you're reaching. So like, every single year you're either allowed to work 120 full days or 240 part-time days. You have to see like if you want to do 1 internship in 1 year and the second internship in second year, because I think that would be more sensible. And you can also check if you want to take Urlaub semester, or if you want to still stay registered in the university and just, pay the semester Gebühren and still write exams in the end, because I think that would be smarter to actually stay registered in the university. So Prini Singh is saying, currently I'm reading a book by Colin Dury, Management Accounting for Business, another one called Intermediate Accounting. Prini, don't waste time on books. I'm telling you, really, don't waste too much time on books. Professors really have zero, and I mean like really zero regard for the books, because for them the most important and the best thing that they could have created, or like that could exist in that field, is their presentation slides and is their scripts that they give to you in the online portals. Really. Like, don't waste too much time on books. It is not going to be nice thing. If you want to like just do some numericals and stuff, then you can use them. But otherwise, like theory and stuff, don't even touch it. It's like absolute time waste. So Prini, is it going to be actually your first exam? And Ugo, how is your this third semester you were telling me? How is it going? What kind of exams do you have? How are things going on? And Vinny, tell me something about yourself too, man. I mean, I think we just had a few talk in the message section of the Patreon. No, but let me know how things are going on. It's like only when I learn more about you, I can actually talk about that thing too. But Vineet was in general like really interested in actually having his own website. I think like that's something that I absolutely remember. Taking up to LinkedIn and actually writing more material and stuff. So this is what, yeah. I mean, if you could make something like that, you know what you can actually do in this? You can also ask two or three, like, you don't need more people. And, like, this is the important thing. To do anything good, you don't need the whole mass. You just need maybe two people or three people who support you in what you're doing. So if you want to do some kind of blog like this is doing, like towards data sciences or something, then you just need to find two or three people in the entire course that you have. That means your batch, the batch which came previous to you, the batch which came after you, or like any other alumni whatsoever you can find who is a bit nerdy, who is interested in that. And always make sure that the people with whom you're trying to work with, you have some kind of contracts with them, because that's what Germans really appreciate. Nobody wants to do anything for free, because if you do something for free, actually you wouldn't be as dedicated for it as you would be otherwise when you're actually getting paid for it, because when you're getting paid, you're actually able to sustain yourself. You don't have to worry about some other things to do, and you can do the same work in a way better quality just because you're getting paid for it. So just see how you are able to, form this. Sometimes you might even get funding from the university for making some kind of data science platform or some kind of newsletter. If you're making newsletter, you can get sponsors for that. For sponsorships, you can write to the companies and so on. So it's a complete circle that you go around. No? Ah, okay. So I think like slowly and slowly. The thing is that the chat is freezing, so it's not really that nice. Uh, yeah. So again, I mean, some of these thoughts. It's like I know every single one of you is trying to do something extremely different, and I'm just going to try and support as much as I can. And for this, it is also extremely important that you actually like keep me in the loop. If there's something that is happening, if there's something that you need help with or anything like that, that you just write a message. And that's really as simple as it. Uh, Prini saying first written exam. I'm not really worried about it because I did study a little alongside the classes after this. I have supply chain management. I have two different professors for this subject. Luckily, both of them are great. Ah, that sounds already very nice, Prini. Then all the best to you. I'm having, yeah, like I told you, I think already two or three times. It's just the semester thesis, and on Friday I have my presentation, and then afterwards I'm like done with the semester. Like that is going to be my last semester thesis submission, and I'm so excited for it. You have no idea. It's like no longer of things which do not interest me, because master thesis is going to be fun. In master thesis, I can be creative, I can do my own thing, and you have this kind of creative freedom of actually picking some more things, putting them in your thesis, and actually creating something new. And this is also the reason I would like to do the PhD afterwards, because in the PhD you still have that kind of freedom, but you also have some additional stress. So like that part of this PhD thing is something that I don't really like. So again, it always has these trade-offs, but for now, at least in the masters, it's like the exact same thing that I feel about bachelors in India. That, yeah, I think these things are like pretty much useless, these written exams and stuff, but again, you don't have any kind of alternative to that. And this is why I try to choose, like, whenever you have this complete listing of different modules in the university, I try to choose the ones where I have to do like more of these seminar theses and like presentations and stuff, because presentations are fun for me. I just absolutely love giving presentations. If you would rather make me give presentations the entire masters, I would do that instead of ever writing a single exam. So, and it's not just about that, it's about you're actually building yourself, you're building your communication skills, you would be getting feedback from the professors, and you would always have this kind of feeling, like, to me it always happens whenever I'm giving a presentation, like my heartbeat would go up completely, and I would actually feel really nervous. I would be like, I till the time it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes before presentation, nothing would happen. But as soon as it's like 2 minutes before presentation, 3 minutes before presentation, it's like duck, 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 and it's like you get used to it. And this is something which I absolutely love, that if you're giving presentations, if you're choosing subjects where you're able to give presentations enough number of times, you just get so used to this feeling of nervousness and anxiety before like speaking in front of people, that you don't even care anymore when you're actually doing the exact same thing when you're in your field, when you're actually in the company where where you want to be successful in. So again, like, this is just a thought that you should like definitely remember and definitely take care of in the longer run too, because presentations are really the way to go. Like, there is no substitute for the need of people to connect with each other, and that's what you should focus on. So we have another super nice question coming in from Manjunath. So Manjunath is saying, wait, Bharat, how many semesters have you taken for your masters? So Manjunath, till now this is my third semester of masters. The first master's degree that I was doing, it was actually civil engineering. That means, yeah, I did civil engineering, and then afterwards I wanted to do structural engineering. I did first semester of that. I was at a score of 1.3. Then afterwards, second semester, I decided, no, this is not something that I want to do, or like this is not something that I can do. So I shifted to marketing now, and I shifted to marketing in 2017 October. So like this is my third semester right now, and I think till the time I would be finished with my masters, it would be like 4 semesters, and I don't really have to worry about the exact same rule that other people have to take care of in general when they are actually what going through their masters, because they want to do a job afterwards. I really don't want to do a job afterwards. I want to go into more creative fields once the masters is done. I want to like go more into video creation, want to go more into drawing and stuff. So that is like, and even writing, like I love writing, so I want to go towards those fields and just be a proper creator. Now this is something that would be very fun to me. But in general, like, I wouldn't be if I wouldn't be having YouTube and stuff, then I can just see myself doing an internship in the middle, because most of the students have done that, or they were going to this foreign exchange semester. If I wouldn't have taken YouTube seriously, I think, yeah, like that was the whole plan. That's why I saved all this money. I saved 3,000 euros over such a long time so that I can go to South Korea and I can have my foreign exchange semester. And that was from what? It was supposed to be from August till December. But I decided that I'm going to do YouTube more seriously. I'm going to make the course that I wanted to make, and it completely changed the way life would have gone afterwards, right? And like I would be doing some kind of internship or something like that. So a short answer, it's like, yeah, it's the third semester, but in total I would be finished in 4 semesters. So Ugochi is asking, what are the job prospects for students in food science? How is the German food industry? So to be honest, I mean, food industry is actually going to have a boom, because right now there is this bubble of bio products and stuff. and they are like really focusing on actually trying to make these bio things more affordable for people, because right now if you see anything bio um which you see in the supermarkets and stuff, the main proposition that they offer is that just because they are using less pesticides but they are using more land and more water, that they are going to be good for the nature, which might not be necessarily true. So I really think there's going to be way more scope in that side. And if you are just talking about the companies, there are a lot of them, and a lot of them who are actually putting a lot of scientific research into the products that are creating. So if you, I think the biggest one that you can think about is this Dr. Utka, and this is definitely a company you should take a look at. And if you want to go into even more detail about what kind of companies you might want to work in, so let me just put it here. So I would start looking for some kind of how do I say Verband, like these organizations. So let me check the Ernährungs Firmen Ernährungsunternehmen Verband. So like you can just check. So for example, there's this for Lebensmittel. Na, Verbraucherschutz. Nee, this is not the correct one. But you start going through them and you can figure out a company or some kind of association, Bio für Arbeiter. So let's see what this is. And then you go towards Erzeuger. And you can just start going through all of these different links and you will find so many different companies. So here you can find one already. Then this is the Bund, Ökologische Lebensmittelwirtschaft. Again, so Bund is again some kind of organizations. So you can just directly start working through these different links and you can start looking for companies which you would be interested in working afterwards. Vineet, Anthony, I'm doing Masters in Informatik in Frankfurt in my third semester currently. Coming to Germany changed my life completely from a guy just wanting to do a Masters without aim. I'll find my calling in data science. But being in such a varied field combining statistics, programming, etc., I want to prove myself by writing quality articles in DS. That's really the way to go. That's actually really, that's more responsible. And that's not the general thing that most of the people do. Like just coming here, finishing their masters and trying to search for a job. Because it's like the book that I read, this Linchpin from Seth Godin, it really changed my perspective on so many things. It's like it essentially argues that if the company hires you and you're working with them for a certain number of years and then afterwards they have to start laying off people. Now, what makes you to be actually able to stay in the company when the company fires most of the other people? So like you have to be so indispensable, you have to be actually doing a job, you have to be actually putting efforts inside and doing something different, so different that the companies think that no, we don't want to throw him. And again, like this doesn't sound like such a fancy idea when I speak it, but it essentially really is. And it has again a lot to do with the initiation. Like right now you already have an idea what you want to do in the data science. You want to start writing articles, you want to start making videos maybe, and this is going to actually pay off in the longer run. This is going to create your own brand. Like you can have opinions about different kind of, how do I say, if there are some kind of updates in data science in the industry, there are some kind of trends going on, you can give your updates to that, you can give your opinions on that and stuff like that. So like all of these things can just come together. And I think the thinking that you are running out of things to make or you're running out of ideas, that is something you can avoid just if you think about giving opinions about different kind of trends which are going on. Like that is, I think, the easiest thing and one of the most documentative ways in which you can, just create content. It actually shows how you think about that particular subject, and it is completely fine if you think about the exact same subject in some kind of different way afterwards. But for you personally too, it becomes some kind of documentation which you can look back to, and you can just follow along, and you can see how your thoughts change over the time. So like, this is something which I really, really like, and which is something that everybody should definitely do. Akhil, hey Bharat, I have to take off now. Have to wake up at 4:30 tomorrow. I will write to you on Patreon. Alright Akhil, best of luck, man. It's just the last days of masters, and I just understand everybody's busy, and this is the reason I also just wanted to keep it a bit short. But I see it's already 46 minutes. So what do I have in plan for the next weeks on Patreon? So I think first of all, I'm going to go a bit more into the detail of the guest lectures that I had in this KPMG thing, because they essentially talked about the qualities that they are looking for in the students who are coming from other countries. So it isn't as easy as just getting better grades and learning German and stuff like that. They had to put more focus on actually being able to learn the students as a person, see how they work, see how they think. And this is the reason why a lot of German companies are taking up the approach of going through recruitment from recruitment centers instead of just doing all of it online. So I think that is going to be the first article which is going to be coming up, and then afterwards I have the bi-weekly diary, and then again that article, and then the bi-weekly diary, and then we have the live session. So we will do that slowly, and hopefully more people will be joining in the Patreon, because I'm trying to tell people about the value proposition of this too. We'll see how things work out. And in any case, I really appreciate all of you for joining me in this thing. It just helps me to keep sharing more things and actually bringing more content out for you guys, which could maybe change your life. Who knows? It's like, here's the funny thing. Sometimes, like for me, it generally happens that it's like something as ridiculous as a very useless quote said in a very monotonous way made me think about some kind of different idea, some kind of different tricks, some kind of different approaches I could have to the problems that I'm facing right now, that it actually just really changes the way that you're taking, or like the way you are thinking about to solve that problem. So like, who knows, maybe you get some ideas here and you might actually be able to use it afterwards. If that happens, really nice, I'm really happy. And like, I would definitely love to know about that too. So Prini, that would be actually great to have an outlook from the company directly. Yes, so this is going to be the plan. I'm going to mention that. But in any case, thanks a lot for joining in for now. Let's do it again next month. And if you have any kind of questions, if you want to just engage with each other in the Patreon community, feel free to do that. This is privately for all of us who want to do something better. All right then. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll get back to presentation. Prini, you get back to your accounting exam. Vineet, I think you're having your exams too, and I think everybody's having exams, not to be, like there is really no exception here. Alright then guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you some other time. Bye bye.